Hi, good morning. So often when I'm talking about solution-focused brief therapy, I'm coming back to the very first question that we ask. What are your best hopes from our talking together? That question, the best hopes question, encapsulates so much about our approach. And the words itself, best hopes, I love asking people about their best hopes right at the beginning of a piece of work. The words are important. They encapsulate for me, they hold both the realism and the stretch. The realism is contained in the word hopes. You can only hope for something that's possible. We don't ask about people's desires. We don't ask what they want. We ask about their hopes. But not just any hopes. That realism, the realism of hoping, is paired with their best hopes. We invite people to stretch themselves in terms of what they might hope for from the work that we do together. And I love the fact that right at the beginning of a piece of work, we're inviting people to start thinking about the future they want to build. That already is an intervention. It's giving people a message. It's giving people a message of possibility rather than starting the piece of work in an evaluation, an assessment of the past and where people are coming from. It's inviting people to rebalance their sense of what's important about possibility. Here we are, right from the beginning. We're focusing people on the future that they want. And it also highlights something else about this approach. Solution focus really is a client-centered model. In this approach, we make no distinction between what people might hope for and what they might need. In solution focus, there's no idea of need. The worker in that sense is really not formulating their own idea of the direction that the work should be moving in. The work is client-led, it's client-determined. The client is at the center of the work. What are your best hopes from our talking together? Off we go into that preferred future that the client is hoping to build with us. And from my point of view, it's the answer to that question that begins to establish the nature of the relationship between the worker and the client. As I would see it, if we do a piece of work together and the client achieves enough of what they want, then the work went well. If we do a piece of work and the client doesn't get enough of their best hopes of what will tell them one way or another that the work's been useful, then the work really didn't go well. I see the job of the solution-focused brief therapist as being the job, in some senses, of a technician. I don't establish the direction. I don't establish the important things in people's lives. It's not for my job. It's not for me to have views on how people should live their lives, on what a healthy life looks like. It's merely my job to find out what are the client's best hopes from our work together, and to give of my very best in the talking to facilitate the client moving their life in that direction. What are your best hopes from our talking together? How could you know at some point in the future that our talking together had ended up being of use to you?